Hi everybody, I'm George Lamb and welcome to our webinar. During this session you're going to find out how you can request portal access, get signed up for training, get serial numbers assigned to you if they're not already done, provision a Self-I Quatra system, use the antenna pointing application, and then verify that everything's done correctly. Now, of course, I'm not going to do this all by myself. I'm going to get a lot of help from Rosa Suarez. So Rosa, I think what I'm going to do is just hand over to you, and then I'll stay here in the background and answer any questions that come up and pop in every once in a while if I've got a question myself. So, over to you, Rosa.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to our first webinar. I wanted to take some time to introduce myself. A lot of you guys already know me, but for those that don't know me, my name is Rosa, and I am the Senior Manager of Customer Support. So we are here to discuss how to commission a Quatra system, and then also the process of getting certified. So there is a couple steps that you need to take in order for you to have access to a Wave portal. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with that. I'm going to go and share my screen. If you're all not familiar with our account request page, this is our account request page. It's selfi.com/account-request. This is where you initially go to request Wave portal access. So what you have to do is just fill out this form. It does state on here that it does take 24 to 48 hours for Wave portal access being granted to you. And the reason being is that we do request that you complete our Quatra classes to get Quatra certified. So I'll go over with that as well. So if you already don't have access to Self-I University, our learning management system, you'll get access via this form as well, because we'll assign you all the required courses, and you'll be able to see those courses when you log into our Self-I University, and you will receive an email invite with all the courses that are required to get certified.
Hey, Rosa, I just want to make sure I understand this. You're saying then that if I want to have access to the portal, I actually have to take the online classes first. Is that right?
Correct. So you do have to take classes. We assigned you to 3 classes. Only 2 of those 3 classes are required. So we have Self-I Quatra downloadables, which is basically like a one-pager that gives you all the links to all our user guides and useful information that you need prior to installing Quatra. And we have Self-I Quatra off-air mode, which talks about installing the Self-I Quatra with an external antenna or without an external antenna. Then we have Quatra small cell mode, which is about installing Quatra with a small cell. So only those 2 classes are required.
But I'm taking this webinar. Isn't that good enough for me to get portal access?
No, we're just doing this as a review, as a refresher. Everything that I'm going to talk about today, you'll be able to see it in our classes as well.
And a lot more, I assume.
Correct. Yeah, a lot more about installation. We're not really going to go over today, but we're just going to go over commissioning.
Got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and show you how our learning management system looks like. So when you already get an email invite, or if you already have access to Self-I University, you can log in and you'll be able to see the list of courses here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that looks like. So when you log in, you'll be able to see this screen here. So like I stated earlier, you'll see the Quatra downloadables, the Quatra off-air, Quatra small cell. Only these 2 classes are what we require for you to get certified. And the Self-I downloadables is just a short one-pager, again, with all that useful information that you need to install the Quatra system. It's mostly meant to be for you to be able to use as a one-pager where you can find all the user guides and user manuals for our Quatra system. So once we verify that you are 100% completion here on these 2 courses, my team and I go ahead and give you access to the Wave portal. And the way that you'll get access by the Wave portal is you'll receive an email invite letting you know, hey, you've been invited to use the Wave portal. Click on this link to sign up. So once you signed up, you will see, and you'll log in and you will see our Wave portal here. There is one step left prior to commissioning our Quatra system, and I'm going to show you what that is. So once you have access to the Wave portal, you also have to request access to your serial number. And the way that you do that is by accessing the Access tab here. If you already have access to that serial number, and if it has already been given to you prior to getting Wave portal access by your point of sale, you'll see the serial number listed here under the Access Manager page. If you don't see your serial number there, that means that you still don't have access. So I'll show you how you can request access right from the portal. Keep in mind that this does go to your point of sale, so it will take a few minutes for someone to go in and approve your access. So let's go ahead and I'll show you. So if you see here on the options button, you can click on the options button here and you'll click on request access. Once you've clicked on request access, you'll see here that you need to enter serial number and SKU. So the serial number is going to be located on the NU of your Quattro system. The SKU, however, is going to be in the box. So make sure you keep the box, don't throw it away. Eventually, I mean, if you don't find the SKU, if you don't have the SKU, you can always reach out to me, your point of sale, and we can give you the SKU. But it's going to be located in the box, so just don't toss it and keep it. So you'll enter that information here. Once you have this information here, you're just going to hit request access. This will email your point of contact or your point of sale. Once they receive the email, they can either approve or deny your request. But once you've been approved, you should be able to see it here. And when you see it here, that means that you're ready to go. You want to make sure that you have all this set up a couple days in advance prior to you going out there and installing the Quattro system. This is very important. Make sure that you've completed the Quattro training. Make sure that you can see your system in the Wave portal under Access Manager. Because if the system is not yet connected to a LAN, you won't be able to see it on the dashboard under new systems. But you can verify that you have access by looking at this Access Manager page right under access here. So when you have all these steps completed, that means that you're ready to go. You're ready to go into your install site or wherever you are, then you want to commission the system, and you're good to go. So then the next step would be basically going back into your dashboard. And you'll see the system here under new systems. So you want to click there. Oh, look, I have access. So I see my system here. It's connected to a LAN. It's ready to go. And I can just go ahead and click here. And this will prompt me to start the commissioning process. So looking here, you fill out all your site information. Or if you've already have this as an existing site and you want to install a second system, so you can just go to add to an existing site. You'll see a drop down here. And we already have our headquarters here as a site, so I can just click on it and hit continue. Otherwise, I fill in all the information on the previous page and hit continue as well. So we're gonna go ahead and hit continue. So you'll wanna name your system. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Can we name it George?
Sure,
No.
I'll name it George.
Okay.
And for the policy, you're always gonna see default policy. This can also be changed. If you wanna go back in and change it later, you can. You can always edit, you can always create your own policy right here under policies right here. First of all, you're just gonna have to select default, then you can go back in later on and do that. So we're just
Hey,
gonna
what does that policy do?
So the policy is going to give you all the alarm and notifications for your system. So depending on how you set it up, it can send you an email, it can send you a text, it can notify you on dashboard. It's based on personal preference. So the default policy, I believe it's just set to email right now. But if you go back in and change a policy or create your own, you can select whichever notification you want or whichever type of alert that you want.
So as long as I've got a permanent LAN connection and I've got the policy set up right, the system will email me or notify me anytime an alert comes up.
Correct. So
Okay.
there's three types of alerts. There's high, low, and medium. So depending on how you set it and your personal preference again, it will notify you.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. So the next step would be basically selecting your unit mode. So for this exercise, we're just going to select external antenna. And you'll click on add system. So we're just going to wait for that to populate. The next screen would basically be our antenna positioning test. So we're not going to complete every single position here because it's going to take a while. So we're going to go ahead and just test the first position. And keep in mind that when you're doing this, you're actually moving the antenna physically on the actual system. So you're positioning it every single way. And with our mounts, you have 8 positions, and so you can test every single one. You can move the antenna as you go. So what this does is it calculates a score. So when you test every position, you're going to see a bunch of numbers. The best score is going to be highlighted in green on the screen here. So what we take into consideration when we test each position for the antenna is we take a look at your signal strength, we take a look at your signal quality, we take a look at other factors, and we take all that stuff and can we have this special algorithm to calculate those numbers. So when you run this, we're going to give you the best score and the best position possible for you to select. So
Hey, Rosa.
Yes.
Dan from NetCES had a question. He said, can they use the app in place of a permanent LAN connection?
Well, we do have our QMT app now that is available for Android and Android tablets. So you can use QMT. The only thing is that you want to use LAN, and LAN is our priority. And I always suggest using LAN because you'll always have a continuous connection. You'll always be able to receive alerts, notifications. With the QMT app, you're only allowed to launch it at the site, at the location of the system. So the moment that you leave or you're out of Bluetooth range, you lose that functionality to be able to remotely manage the system unless you launch the app. So I always suggest keeping a permanent LAN is very important. It's very important for troubleshooting as well, because if you have a question or concern, I can always just go in our Wave portal and check to see what the system is doing, check to see if we have any alerts, notifications, any errors. So you can use the app. However, we always suggest a permanent LAN is better. And then
Okay, so if I have a LAN connection, I should use the LAN connection, but if I can't get a LAN connection, I can use the app. But if I use the app when I'm done and walk away, I won't get alerts, I won't get software updates, I won't get all that other stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
So you lose that functionality. You'll have it every time you connect to it, but software updates are not supported via the QMT app. So if you want to do a software update on your Quattro system, then you definitely want to keep a LAN connection plugged in. It's just better also for support. It's always better to just keep it connected because we can see what your system is doing. We can go in and check it live, basically.
Exactly, and that's what Dan just said. So they can use it for commissioning, for but not for remote monitoring. Hey, I noticed that test position took a long time, and it's probably worth mentioning. When we're doing the test, we're not just testing signal strength. We're actually testing signal strength, we're testing signal to noise ratio, we're testing front to back ratio, and the process of doing that, looks like it started over again, and the process of doing that. Pardon?
I went ahead and pressed it again because we don't have the actual physical system in this room, so it's in a different room. So technically this is why I can't go and move the antenna around, but I'm just testing it again.
Okay. So I guess the important thing is it does take a while to test each one of the positions, but it's doing a lot of stuff and running that through an algorithm to give you your test value.
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to test all 8 positions or a number of the positions. I'm going to select the position that actually gives me the best score on the antenna positioning.
Correct. Yeah, you want to always select the best score. You don't have to do all 8 positions. However, we do recommend to do as many as you can to kind of give you a different set of data. And you obviously want to select the best one, and the best one's going to be highlighted in green.
Okay, so shall we move on and see what happens next?
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and select the first position that we went ahead and tested. Now, like I mentioned, I don't have the physical system here, so I can't just move the antenna around, but it looks like it couldn't find any signal where I have it set right now, but we're still just going to select the first position just so we can move on.
Okay.
Okay, once the antenna positioning has been completed, it will take you to the actual system page. So you'll see here, George is all set up. Everything's green. It's good to go. We see our network unit. We see our coverage unit. As you can see here, this is really important because it tells us what mode it's set to. So we are set to external antenna. Our network is a LAN connection. Our carrier is set to AT&T, and then our server connection is active. So if you're ever wondering if your LAN connection is working or if your system is able to see the active internet connection, you always want to check here, server connection. This will tell you. And obviously the last update is the last time that we synced to the portal, which was at 8:17 a.m. So once you've been all set up, you should be able to see your system here. So if I go to systems, I should see my Quattro right here listed. So this tells me that it's been fully commissioned, it's ready to go, it's powered on. And I can go back in and take a look at what my system is doing. I can take a look at the values. I can take a look at my alarms, my notifications. This is where you can go back and create a new policy if you want to or if you need to. Once this has been completed, you can just go into policies and create a new one. And then this is how you know that your system has been already fully commissioned. If I do want to go back and let's say I want to test my antenna again or my antenna position again, I can go in here under options and click on antenna positioning test. This will bring me up to my position test. And as you guys can see here, I went ahead and moved on, but it did finish doing test position number 2. And this is the data and it's highlighted in green. So if you guys can see here, it's green. So obviously I can go back in and change it to position 2 because it was the best score. And I can go in and do that. Or I can go back and retest again if I need to. Or I can just clear all the results and start again. It's very intuitive. Again, and if you're connected to a LAN, you'll be able to do this right from your PC. You can do it via QMT. Just keep in mind, it is a portal straight to our Wave portal. It's on the mobile phone, but it basically creates a link to our Wave portal via your mobile phone, and it's a lot smaller. So I rather commission a system via PC because I can actually see everything a little better. It's not a small square. So if I go to my dashboard, you'll see that I have 0 new systems here. I have 0 alarms. So this is where you would see all your alarms and notifications here. And I can see my environment. I have 1 site, which is our headquarters, 1 asset, and one system. And me, which I'm the active user of this Wave Portal account.
Hey, Rosa, another question that came in. And what the question was is, if we have multiple people in the company that need access to the portal, does everybody get their own user ID?
Yes, everyone will need their own user ID. However, we create one company account for us to associate serial numbers to, but we can set someone up as an admin. So if you're an admin, you have the ability to see a user tab right here. So if you see the user tab here as an admin, you can actually go in and assign and add new users to that admin account. Keep in mind that if you are, for example, AT&T, you can only add AT&T employees to that account. Because if you add someone like an installer or somebody else that wants access, they'll be able to see all of your systems. So you want to make sure that if it's a separate account or if it's a new account or a new company that wants to get set up, then they need to go through the account request page process.
Okay, so basically I go through the first time, I set the whole thing up, and if you make me the administrator, then I can actually go back and add other people. Should they take the classes as well?
Yes. So the reason why we require that they need to take the classes is because we go over all of this in the course. You will be able to see how to commission a system, how to install it. We also do a lot of health checks and useful information that will teach you how to make sure that your system is installed properly and what you can do to maximize that installation and optimize your system better.
Okay, I had another question from somebody that asked if you could go into the NU and show the readings that are there so we can see what kind of data is available.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Just keep in mind, we don't have this fully installed in the office. It's just sitting at someone's desk. So the readings and the information that we might see might not be the best, but I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. So if you can see here, we have, again, the status, which is green, which is good. We always want to see green. That means that everything's good to go. There's no errors. We have our last measurement, which is basically the last time that it made a connection to our cloud. And you can see here what we're boosting. So we're currently boosting AT&T, and we have band 4 LTE, band 12 LTE, band 4 LTE, and band 12 LTE, because we have it connected to a MIMO antenna. And you can see all the data here. What I normally like to look at is I like to look at our signal strength right here, which is our RSRP for LTE, and then the signal to noise ratio here. We always want to be on the positives here. Obviously, we don't have the best setup right now, so that's why you're showing the negatives. But this is all the useful information that you could gather from the system. And then I can actually also go back and show you guys how the CU page looks like.
While Rose is doing that, if anybody else has questions, this would be a great time for you to pop onto that questions tab and just type your questions in, and I'll either answer them to you via text like I've been doing, or we'll get Rosa to answer your questions. So feel free to ask away. Rosa, while you're looking for that, Dan just asked if there's a limit to how many quattras you can have on a single portal.
No.
So I could have as many as I want on the portal.
Yes.
Okay. Can I have as many as I want on a single site? Like if I create a site, is there a limit to number that I can have there?
Well, it depends on your installation, and it depends on the way that you have set up your solution.
But the portal let me put as many in there as I want.
Yeah, the portal you can put as many as you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Still loading.
So while you're looking for that, Jacqueline Cook wanted to know, in what serial number would someone not grant access to a serial number?
Well, I think it all depends on, maybe they didn't sell it to you. They need to verify more information. For the most part, we've never had anyone not give you access. Another reason why, let's say if somehow they need to verify that, oh, I didn't set up this person on LMS. I don't think that they've taken LMS. We need to verify that information. I mean, it all depends, but for the most part, once everyone gets access, they should be able to get access to a certain number. I've never had anyone be denied of that.
Okay. And John Fuller wanted to know if there were different levels of access or individual privileges that you could assign as the admin.
Like privileges.
So I know that you said that the serial numbers that you can see are restricted by your company, but are there different access levels beside that, or is it just admin and user?
So we just have admin and employee. So the admin will be basically be able to add new users and control the amount of users and who they want to have access to their systems. The employee basically can't do that. They'll be able to commission, they'll be able to see the systems in the way forward, they'll be able to troubleshoot them, they'll be able to remotely manage them, but they just won't be able to add new users.
Okay. Okay. So you've taken us through and you showed us how to request access, which meant that you got the classes assigned to you. You walked us through in the LMS platform where the classes are and how they work. And then you said that you would assign a portal access to us. We could go in and look for our serial numbers, and if they weren't there, we could request access to the serial numbers. And then inside there, you showed us how to activate the individual serial numbers to provision the system, to use the antenna pointing. You showed us some of the readings that we should be looking at to make sure things are going well. You talked about how important it was to have a LAN connection, but if you couldn't have a LAN connection, you could use the QMT app. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover while we were talking?
I think I've covered it all. I want to know if anyone has any questions, or if they want me to go over something that maybe I went too fast, or if they want a refresher again. I can definitely do that.
Okay. So ask your questions now. Or maybe Rosa could just like sing a little song for us.
Right, or does anyone need to see like a special point of any of the process that I showed you with the account request, with the learning management system? Again, all this information that I went over with you today, you'll be able to see it on the actual courses. So when you take the Quattro small cell and the Quattro off air mode training classes, you'll be able to see all this information. We also walk you through how to commission a system, how to do the antenna positioning. We give you all that information in the class. That's why it's really important to take it and make sure that you take it in advance so that when you do go out to that site and when you're ready to commission, you have everything ready to go. We always want to emphasize, you know, make sure that you have access to the wave portal, make sure you completed your classes, make sure that you have access to the serial number. You know, things do happen. Sometimes things do get delayed. So we want to make sure that you're all ready and set to go prior to going out to that site.
So Dan was just asking how it was that we could put more than one NU, stack them together. And I typed, you probably heard me typing, I forgot to mute.
Yeah.
But I texted him, I typed back to him and told him that we can add multiple NUs into a single site. At the physical location, you can actually put multiple NUs on a small cell if you're using the small cell interface. But there are a lot of times we'll see that we'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 NUs on a single installation. It's worth noting, by the way, that what we've seen is if you have a LAN connection, you can daisy chain together the NUs with a LAN connection, and you can do up to 4 or 5 LAN connections daisy chain together off a single LAN port. After about 5, then we don't have enough power in the connection to make it work. But you can daisy chain them together. So you just go in from the Ethernet port into the in on the first one. Then you go from the output to the input on the second one, and the output to the input again, and the output to the input again.
Yeah, you are correct. You could definitely do that. So that will allow you to basically make sure that all the NUs have a LAN connection and you don't have LAN issues. So it's definitely possible.
Okay. I don't see a whole lot more questions coming in. I did want to mention that we have more webinars coming up. So what's coming up? We've got a webinar coming up on how to do antenna pointing, and David's actually going to take you through on a Go system and show you the bracket. He's going to show you the pointing application. We're actually going to go all the way through antenna pointing. Really powerful tool in antenna pointing, and we're pretty excited about that one. And then we've got another webinar coming up where Hawk's going to talk about what we can do with IB-Wave and the IB-Wave tools and support that we offer. Now, we don't offer IB-Wave as a service, but we certainly will support you if you want to use IB-Wave. And there's one more. Oh, Steve's going to talk about how you can go through and use the portal and the data that you see in the portal to absolutely optimize your Quattro installation. So
correct. That's why I didn't want to go too much into depth. That's what we see in the Wave portal, because I know we have a webinar coming up on that, and Steve will be able to basically take you in, talk about the policies, talk about all the alarms, notifications, and all the data that you see on the actual Wave portal and how to use it and how to optimize your installation a little bit better by taking a look at the data.
Okay, so we're at the half hour, which is about what we were targeting for this session. If there's no other questions, we'll wrap it up. I wanted to thank everybody who logged in. We will be doing these on a regular basis. If you have a request for something you'd like to see us do a webinar on, please let us know. If you have and there's a couple more questions that are popping in. But if you have anything else that you'd like us to do differently or new with these webinars, like I said, it's our first time. So let us know what we can do. John Fuller wanted to know if every single Quattro system has to be registered.
Yes, every single Quattro system does need to be commissioned.
Okay.
And again, this is what's going to allow you to be able to see it in the Wave portal. So you want to commission it. You want to make sure that you have a line going to. You want to make sure that it's commissioned. That way we can see it in the Wave portal. We can see what it's doing. We can see if there's any issues. We can provide additional support by taking a look at all the data that's inside the Wave portal.
Okay, I think we're all set. Rosa, thank you so much. You did a great job. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I'm going to wrap this up now. If there's anybody that wants to review this or missed it, we're doing this session again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And the other thing to let you know is we will be putting the video of this session up so that you can go back and have people come back and see it after the fact. And again, somebody else just asked, how do we get access to the web portal, all you have to do is go into our website, www.selfi.com.
I can show them the page right here.
That account request
So
form.
selfie.com /account-request. You fill out this form. My team and I get all this information. What we do is we go in and verify that you have access to Selfie University, our learning management system. If you don't have access, we'll give you access. We'll give you access to all our Quattro training courses. Once you've completed the training courses, then we'll go ahead and grant you access to the WAVE portal.
Okay. Thanks, Rosa. We're going to wrap it up now. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys. If you guys have any feedback or any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here.